Hello, everyone. Today I had a friend tell me something interesting that made me think about belief and what we expect of others. He told me something to the effect that it makes him very sad when people say that they're not interested in Christianity or being Christian. And that's very interesting because we're in Texas. At least I'm in Texas. If you're watching this from somewhere else, then you're not. But most people are Christian here. And most people are very interested in Christianity, obviously, because they're Christian. But I started to think about what we expect from others as far as their regard for our beliefs. We, a lot of the time, expect others to understand what we believe. If we're raised in an environment where the same belief is prevalent and no other belief is there, we're going to think terrible things, probably, about other religions, about other spiritual systems because we've never experienced them, but also we're going to think that everybody we meet, if we stay in this environment, whether it be family, friends, work environment, and the area, if we stay in that environment, we're going to expect everybody to be, in my case, Christian. And I tend to expect that of everyone. That doesn't bother me because other religions don't bother my sense of identity. They don't bother my belief system. I think there's a place for everything. And in complete honesty, I view Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. I just don't believe He's the only one that God sent. I don't believe He's the only segment of consciousness, of pure consciousness that God sent down because I'm Hindu. But regardless of what I believe, we shouldn't expect other people to think as we do, to accept the same assumptions that we make central to our belief systems, and we shouldn't expect other people to basically even be approving of us. When I approach people and I tell them everything that I believe, that I'm a Vodalissant, that I'm mainly Hindu, and I also practice Asatru, mainly people react very standoffish towards the idea of voodoo, Vodou. It's technically pronounced Vodou for the Haitian version that I practice, but I call it Vodou because I'm an American English speaker. But people react funny to that, and I address the points. I say, it's not about cursing people. I've never cursed anybody with Vodou. I've never sought to harm anyone with it. I've just tried to make myself strong, get close to the spirits in the spirit world, and obtain knowledge. I don't have any desire to hurt other people with it. Now, there's plenty of adolescents that do hurt other people with it, but I'm not one of them. I mean, it's just like if you're a Christian. Sometimes Christians do bad things even though they're Christian. They do things that aren't very Christian. There are even reports in history that Christians crucified other Christians, which is crazy. But just because somebody does something bad and they have to be part of that belief system doesn't mean that their belief system is inherently flawed. Just like Muslims that act as suicide bombers. I've read a good piece of the Quran, and I've listened to an audiobook on Muhammad's life, and I've studied other sections of Muslim ideology and faith, the difference between Sunnis and Shiites, and basic things like that. But it sounds very similar to the Bible. People just assume that just because people who are Muslim that do these terrible acts of suicide bombings, that's what Islam is. I don't make that assumption anymore. I have no relationship to Islam as far as believing any part of it, but I don't make the same assumptions other people do because I've seen the same assumptions been directed at me, and also I care more about truth than just the easy path of assuming everybody else is wrong and everybody else is evil except for those who believe what I believe. That's the easy path. That's the path that comes from a desire to stay in one's comfort zone and not branch out and at least try to learn about other things. Like I've studied Satanism, for instance. I've read a piece of Satanic Bible, and Anton LaVey put out works, essays about Satanism. I've read them. I'm not any more convinced of Satanism than I was before. I'm just knowledgeable about it now. It doesn't mean that I'm converting to that just because I believe it. I just have an awareness of it. We shouldn't, even if we think something is very evil, like Satanism. I still think Satanism is evil. I don't think of evil in the same way as other people. I think of it as unskillful practice of life. In essence, the duality aspect isn't really a part of my psyche as much as it is for other people, black and white, all that. But And by the way, Buddhists are the ones who think that evil is basically unskillful, and then virtue is skillful. And it's very basic, but I got that from studying Buddhist texts. We must focus on not to prove other people wrong, not to convert other people, not to make them believe what we believe. We should focus on connecting to God through our beliefs and educating people who want to know about our beliefs. That doesn't mean we have to get them to agree with us or follow what we follow. Just let them know what you believe if they don't know about it or if they respond badly to it. And then that's basically, as far as your relationship to other people, if they don't believe what you believe, that's the end of your obligation to them and to your faith, to your spiritual systems. I've always been more spiritual than religious. I've been spiritual because I care more about connecting to God and understanding reality than I do about judging other people or trying to get other people to believe what I believe or trying to get them to not sin or to follow the virtues that I follow. That's why I consider myself more spiritual than religious. But regardless, we shouldn't. If our very happiness depends on if people agree with us, if our security depends on people agreeing with us, then we have no security. We have no happiness. And that's all I really got to say. But thank you very much for watching, and y'all have a great